Hello and welcome back to Natural Sanity Mama with myself, Olga Gertz. And today we have Charlie Clements. Is that how I pronounce your last name?
Yes, that's it.
Awesome. And he is an expert in Wim Hof style cold plunging. And I got really excited to meet him because I had been interested in the Wim Hof method ever since I heard about it like a couple years ago. And ever since then, I've wanted to know more, and I've started implementing a little bit in the wintertime, doing a little bit of snow rolling and all that, and doing some hot cold stuff in my own life. But I just really want to talk to somebody who really incorporates this into his life like on a daily basis, and can tell us so much more about it, the ins and outs, and how to start, and how your life is benefited by doing cold plunges. Like, I'm super interested in all of these things. And I want to start with you introducing yourself, telling us about how you got into this. What is your story? Tell us how all of this happened for you and how you discovered Wim Hof, how you started doing all this in your own life.
Yeah, so bullet points on it there. I've been picking up the pieces back in my life there, 2020. My life had just fallen apart completely.
Okay.
And, young kids in tow, and I was getting my life back in check. And so one of the things that I did was I joined the gym.
Okay.
And joined the gym, lost 45 pounds there, but, starting to feel better about myself and building self-confidence and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing I want to say here is I didn't find the method. The method found me, right?
Like that.
My house, I keep it warm. I love it warm in my house. I have a wood stove, keep it 25 degrees, love the warm, right? But this guy at the gym kept going on about the cold. Let's go. We're working out one night, and he's like, "Oh, let's go jump in the lake mid-November." I'm like, "No, I'm not the ice man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm good." Right? But he wouldn't stop going on about it. So after a couple of days of him just bugging me, let's go jump in the lake. And just no. I'll download the app because there's a free app in the Apple Store, Google Play Store, Wim Hof Method. If you do a search, it'll come right up, free app.
Awesome.
So anyways, so I download this app, I go home and I try it. And it leads you through like a daily practice, right? So it starts off with some breathing.
Yeah.
And I've never really been into meditation or anything. So I was like, oh, geez, this is neat. There was definitely something to it, right? And stretching, I'm always had a hard time even just touching my toes, right?
Yeah.
So stretching was good. And then the last thing that I got into was a 30-second cold shower. Or at least it was telling me this is what I should do.
Yeah.
So first day I was like, no, that's good. I think I'm okay. Next day, because everything, it's a daily practice. So then next day, you go through the breathing, go through the stretches. I talk myself into doing this 30-second cold shower. And then when I say talk myself into it, I mean, I had my warm shower. I turned it to cold as it can get. Like, and in the winter here, our tap water is about between 2 and 4 degrees Celsius, right? So it's pretty cold. Stood to the side for about 10 minutes. Then do a little two-step, no.
I love that.
And anyway, so I finally, after about 10 minutes, got myself into it. And I want to tell you, it was not pleasant. It was not, I didn't really enjoy it. 30 seconds felt like about 10 minutes. I got out of the shower and I felt fabulous. Didn't get that cold shudder that you get when the cold air hits you when you open up the door there, pull the shower curtain back. I just got out and I felt great. Went to the gym that night, had a power workout, and I was throwing down, 10 extra reps on any set that I'd normally do, extra weight on every set. I think I spent an extra hour there that night. I was just completely energized, right? So next day goes on, do the breathing, do the stretches, and I think maybe there were some push-ups in there too. Got to the cold shower portion, I was like, no, I did this yesterday, I'm good.
Yeah.
I talked myself out of it, and then when I got out of the shower, I was just like, there was a sense of loss, like I was missing something. I just didn't have that charge, right? After I didn't get out of the shower and just had that sense of loss, next day I got back in, started doing them every day through the month of November and December. January 1st came up, the polar plunge here was canceled because of COVID.
Uh,
And but I live right on the lake. Lake was frozen. Why
why
not?
not?
Right? Why not? At this point, I'd already done the cold showers. So I went out and I got in the lake for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. At that point, I was not sure about the method. I basically wanted to prove or disprove it, right?
Ah,
And so I went and I documented it. And then starting in February, I think it was around February 15th, started going every day. And since
wow.
that date back in February 2021, I've gone consecutively missing only one day, but consecutively right now, my record is 434 days in a row getting in a cold water immersion or ice bath. Because part of what it does, besides give me energy, is it dials you in. It gives you great
Mm.
mental focus. Um, and to be honest, if I had known any of this stuff going through high school and college, what a great tool to get yourself cold right before an exam, right?
Mm.
And then you just go in and you have this heightened focus because of what noradrenaline does to you, right?
Yeah.
It just dials you right in. So it's a very great thing. But that's kind of my path of what's gotten me here. If you've ever watched Wim, because there's tons of documentaries out there
Yeah.
that he's on. There's tons of interviews. He is exactly like that in person. He's
Mm.
very charismatic.
Mm.
If he says something, he does it,
Mm.
and he's behind it 1,000%.
So let's talk about some of the actual like known scientific benefits of the method. Yeah.
There's three pillars to the Wim Hof method.
Okay.
We have breathing, mindset, and cold, right?
Mm.
And through the three, that's how you get the best benefits, right? My main focus when I started this was the cold. My true allure to it was the cold and what it did for me. The breathing, yeah, it was all right. Mindset, yeah, pretty good too, but wasn't what the cold was. But the breathing is a simple, great place to start, right?
Mm.
Just given what it does and how simple it is, and how simple it is to get into through that
Mm.
app that I mentioned earlier, the
Yes.
Wim Hof Method app. It has guided breathing in there, which is the same guided breathing that I do in my workshops, right? But only in a group setting. And the group setting kind of changes the dynamic. It kind of elevates everything, right?
Yeah.
Just through that breathing, it really can do a lot for anybody out there. Like I said, covering from ADHD to starting to address diseases. And most of the stuff here that anything that I mentioned has been scientifically proven along the
Yeah.
way. It's just not just dogma, or it's not just, oh yeah, hippie voodoo or
Yeah.
whatever, however you want to categorize it, right? Not to take away from any of that either, but there really is something to it, and the science is behind it, right? Just because of what it does. I was talking to a customer today because, this is a hat I wear, right?
Yeah.
I have my other business that I deal with during the day. And I was telling him, I've been running that business for 15 years, right? And it's been profitable, and that's great. I've been running this officially since I got back from Poland. And so catching on here has been kind of slow, but I've only helped a handful of people here so far. And what I've done in 15 years is great, but the handful of people I've helped in the last couple of months
Mm.
is a reward that it's just not the same, right? And
Yeah.
I'll do it 1,000 times over. It's all been on my dime here so far, right?
Yeah.
But just helping everybody to learn these tools and this method has been amazing, and I look forward on continuing to grow it, right? And hopefully in our country and in the Maritimes here, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and more well known, to the point where it's a household name and it's a household thing you do,
For
right? So
sure. And I like what you said about kids, and I love seeing because you can kind of follow your journey on your Facebook page, right? I liked seeing your little son there trying to test the waters of the ice tub. So I'm curious,
yeah,
has he fully immersed himself yet? How old is he?
he's 8, and yes,
Oh
he
wow.
has. About the week afterwards, he did.
Awesome.
However, I had a couple people that kind of reached out and they're like, "Hey, you realize this isn't Europe, and you might want to
Yeah.
watch what you're
People
doing,
are gonna judge you.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so I was like, well, maybe we won't post that video. But at the same time, my boys and I, we go in the ocean. I think we were swimming in December in the ocean when it was like 6 degrees,
Wow.
right? We were out in the ocean again last week. It was like 8.5 degrees, the ocean temperature, right?
Amazing.
Uh, so with this, and what I tell people about it, look, a lot of people don't like the cold. right? And look, I'm not a huge fan of it, right? Like I said, I like my warm. However, this method has taught me a way that I can deal with it better, right? So now, if I go out and it's cold, my body knows how to deal with it and what to deal with it. We become so comfortable in our nice warm houses that I talked about, like mine,
Yeah.
25
Yeah.
degrees, and one of the things I used to tell my kids here years ago is like, yeah, when you get old, you get cold. I don't know what it is, but it just
Yeah.
happens. But it's so true. When we get old, we get cold. And if you ever notice, like kids run around at a younger age,
The furnaces, yeah.
yeah, they run around in the middle of the winter with no jackets on,
That's
no
so
hats.
true.
Teenagers, you can't keep them clothed.
Put a hat on.
Exactly, right? And so what ends up happening is as we grow and as we progress, right, we become comfortable in our warmth, right, and staying warm. So our body stops creating brown fat, right? And brown fat is basically it's stored energy. It's different from white fat. It's actually a converted white fat that helps us thermoregulate ourselves in the cold, right? So now when I go out in the cold, because I also go for cold runs here in the winter or when it's cold enough, or I run almost every day, but when it's cold, it's fantastic. And I go out in the cold and I do my 3.5 kilometer run. And yeah, the first 30 seconds or so is kind of like, but after that, brown fat kicks in and you stay warm. One of the biggest challenges I've had with this is trying to keep up with the calories that I burn every day from going into the cold. Actually, I got to a point here where I had to reduce how long I was staying in my cold baths every day because I couldn't keep weight on. So if you want to lose weight, start with a cold shower, 30-second cold shower every day, right? For a month, I can guarantee you will drop 5 to 10 pounds just like that. Right?
So you burn more calories when you're cold.
Yes, absolutely. Burning calories is how the body warms itself up. Now, typically that's from shivering, right? One of the things that happens from doing the cold immersions is you start producing this brown fat again, right? And the brown fat's all through your spine or up through your upper spine and up through your shoulders. There is mostly where it's all stored, right? So instead of the body shivering, it can use a brown fat store to keep you warm.
Wow.
Right? So I shiver a heck of a lot less, right? Which is great. So, but even when I do shiver now, it's taken me a while to get to this point, but I actually embrace it. I don't enjoy it, right? Kind of hard in my mind to actually enjoy shivering, but I try as much as I can to embrace it and realize it's just my body's way of warming itself back up.
Just a reaction, yes.
Right? So a little bit back to the science of that. When we're babies, for about the first year that we're born, babies can't shiver. Right? So they use brown fat to keep themselves warm. They burn brown fat, right? And that's what thermoregulates themselves, right? To keep themselves warm. So, and then again, like I said, as we age, those brown fat stores, because we keep ourselves warm, we have no use for it. So then the brown fat just starts dissipating, right? And that's why, we got to have the warmth to keep us warm.
There's a lot of science behind it. That's so interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with the brown fat thing. That's really interesting. Okay, awesome. So next, I was wondering if you could take us through a little bit of maybe like 2 minutes of the breath work that you teach. Is that possible?
Sure. Actually, probably one of the best things I teach a variety of breath work when somebody comes to my workshop. The majority of it's Wim Hof Method. Some of it is not, right? Some of it is just great breath work methods that I've kind of picked up along the way. Sympathetic sighing, right? This is a great tool that anybody watching here can do and pick up, right? I'll teach you this quickly, and then we can move on to another quick method here. So what it is basically, we saw, whether we're aware of it or not, every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes, we saw at least once, right? And that's to pop open the alveoli in our lungs that have collapsed, 500-600 million of them, right? So every now and then, one of them just collapses because there's so many, right? So the body's created this way that to keep those popped open, right? And whether you realize it or not, every 5 minutes you're sighing, right? So something you can do quickly here is just, and I do this, depends on the day. Sometimes I do this a lot, but it really helps. It's just 2 big breaths in the nose. And one more. So I find, and this isn't Wim Hof Method, but I find this is one of the best, quickest tools that anybody could use out there on a day-to-day basis. Doesn't matter where you are. You could be driving, you could be chasing your kids, you could be walking your dog. If you just want to dial it down a notch, right?
So induce relaxation, is that what we're
Yeah,
saying?
two quick breaths in the nose and release out of the mouth. Nice long exhalation or nice long exhale, right?
Nice. I like that.
And I find that it really helps. And one of the things that does through the long exhalation is it'll lower your heart rate, right? So anytime that I'm finding I'm really stressed through the day, and I'm like, oh, stop, breathe.
Yes.
Right?
I love this
take
for the
that as a
car.
tool. And, yep. Yeah, you're jammed up in traffic.
Yeah, or like your kids crying in the back, and you're just like, my brain, and you're like, it's okay, I can breathe. I can always breathe no matter where I am.
Yeah. So another method that I can run you through here is called interceptive focus. All right. So interceptive focus is the focus. Interceptive means focus on what's within. Right. So this is also something that I use to lead into the breathwork rounds. Right. So typically we'll do 3 to 4 breathwork rounds, which are 30 to 40 breaths. Right. So that's not what we're getting into today, because each one of those rounds take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes a piece. So we won't get into that. So, but the interceptive focus here is what it is. It's 10 breaths, right? So we're going to breathe in through our nose. Nice long exhalation out of our mouth or your nose, doesn't really matter, right? But nice long exhalation, right? So we're going to do 10 big breaths. And at the end of the big breaths, what I'm going to get you to do is just hold it in. So we're going to do like a 30-second breath retention, right? Or breath hold for 30 seconds, right? And during that 30 seconds, you're going to focus on feeling your heart.
Oh, wow.
So I'll get to start your breathing. So we're going to do 10 breaths. And as you breathe, you want to fill in from your belly to your chest and let go. Into the belly, into the chest, letting go. Into the belly, into the chest, letting go. Belly, chest, letting go. Belly, chest, letting go. Belly, chest, letting go. Belly, chest, letting go. 2 more. Belly, chest, letting go. 1 more. Belly, chest, letting go. And a big inhalation. And hold. And while you hold, I'm going to get you to feel your heart. Feel your heart in your chest. Feel its beat. Feel its rhythm. Tune into it. After you feel it and tuned into it, I want you to pick another spot on your body, whether it's your leg or your toes or your wrists, and feel that heartbeat there. Silence the mind to feel the heart within. And if at any point you feel the urge to breathe, do so. Focusing on the heart, wherever the spot is that you've chosen to pick. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back. So this is another great tool that you gotta be sitting down, or ideally laying down is probably one of the best ways to do it,
Yeah.
right? Yoga mat, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it can just really dial you down a notch there, and it helps tune you in. One of the things that Wim has planned here to do is he wants to break another world record. He has 26 right now, so
Oh my
he's
God.
out to break another world record. Most amount of people doing breath work at the same time.
Wow.
And again, like I mentioned, he's a man of plans. So when he says something, he does it. So he's talking 60, 70,000 people all doing breath work at the same time. And then from there, he wants to do 250,000
Oh my
people.
God, I love it.
So
That's how you spread the actual, like, technique and the
so
teaching.
all I can imagine is how powerful the breath work was as a group of 60, right? You know,
Yeah.
because as a group of 60, we're carrying each other's emotions. We all feel, we're all kind of one at that point. At that point, we're
Yeah.
all one body, right? One breath. And so 60 people was like mind blowing.
Wow.
60,000 people all breathing together, right? What a great way to get us all to connect, right?
Love that. That's
So really
beautiful.
looking forward to that, and hopefully we're going to be part of that. You know, usually like
Yes.
our workshops are kind of restricted to like 25 people, right? For like because we need to keep an eye on everybody, right?
Yes.
Because you know
Safety.
things do happen because we are breathing on a a hypoxic state,
Yeah.
right? So 60,000 people, and I said to Wim there at the campfire that we had with him, I think you're going to need quite a few instructors for that.
Yeah.
Just remember, I'd like to be there, right?
Not
So
only that, but I feel like it could be like actual people in one place, but we could all, like, this invitation should be extended outward and also virtually, people in different countries breathing at the same time. It could be like a mass manifestation, like, of whatever you are
yeah,
manifesting together. I think that's so beautiful because there's mass meditations. Why not mass breathathons all over the world,
yeah, no, that'd be beautiful there. And, I'll
Yeah.
definitely have to suggest that next time I'm talking to
Totally.
Wim.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah,
I'm in. Like, I will be
yeah,
on my Zoom.
perfect. Well, we have a reunion coming up in September there, and he'll be there,
Love it.
so I'll bring it up with him then, and we'll see what we can do here.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so two more things. So one, how is the best way for people to start with this app or to work with you, or both? How can people start? And also, how can people find you if they do want to work with you?
Okay, perfect. So if this was something that interested you, I would suggest to start with the app. The app kind of breaks it right down and makes it pretty, straightforward and easy to follow, right?
Mm,
You don't have to take it to the paid level of the app there. I mean, that's completely up to yourself. If you do, great, but not necessary, right? And then also on Google, there's lots of good breathwork sessions. A recorded
yes.
10-minute loop session is something that I used at the beginning of this, right? And then I stopped using it altogether. But either way, start with the app. That's great. And it'll start you off with some basic breath work. It's going to start you off with 30-second cold showers, right? Because I do not advise for any of your viewers here to just go out into the Canadian Arctic and jump in cold water, right? And stay in it, right? And one of the things that I learned here the hard way, the first time that I did, when it was 2 minutes and 30 seconds, is I dropped my body temp down to 32.4.
Ooh.
Right? So I was borderline hypothermic, right? And it was a really big wake up call that what I was doing could potentially be very dangerous, right?
Okay.
So if you're going to go out in a body of cold water, even if it's an ice bath, make sure somebody's there with you,
Okay.
right? Another thing is if you're doing the breath work, never while driving, and never while in the water, not even the tub, right? There's a thing called shallow water blackout, right? And unfortunately, there has been a death or two that have occurred from it, right? One of the things that it's just not good. So just make sure you're always with somebody if you're going to do the cold water. That's the bottom line key to it, right? You always want to work on a buddy system, right? And so either way, breath work, cold water right through the app is a great way to start. Otherwise, if you go on the wimhofmethod.com, there on the website, there is an instructor's portal that can let you know where there are workshops on the go and when, and lets you sign up for them, right? And beyond that, you can also reach me. Unfortunately, I don't have a website yet together. It's in the works, right? I do have a Facebook page. It's called Alternative Breath and Cold Survival Therapies, right? So alternative breath and cold survival therapies. Awesome. Or you can email me at abcoldst@outlook.com. And I'm Charlie Clements.
Awesome. I love that. Oh my goodness. I'm very excited. And I think it's important exactly to just start simple, just do the shower and then go from there. And then if your interest is deep, then keep going. But I feel like for me, with so many things on the go, I literally, and like 3 kids that are tiny, like it's like the shower is the best because it's like short, 30 seconds. I can do that. I can probably make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, a lot of people say, or if you get into the groups, a lot of people try to impress that this needs to be done in the morning. This can be done at any time of day, right? It's good in the morning because of what the science that we've talked about does, right? So you do the breathing in the morning, great. You do the cold shower in the morning, great. It's just going to be like, it's going to replace your cup of coffee. I generally do it mid-afternoon, evening, right? So usually, when you'd be looking for that second cup of coffee, third cup of coffee, fourth cup of coffee, right? I'll do it then, right? I'll do my breath work, and then I'll go and do my ice bath, or typically I'll go do a run and then go do my ice bath there, and use that as an absolute recharge for the rest of my day.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Charlie, for joining us here. This was incredible, and I'm very excited to keep following you on your page. And you should definitely start a YouTube channel because I feel like all the videos you make should be seen by more people. So,
yeah,
it's more permanent.
Yeah, definitely a thought or consideration. I think somebody's probably suggested that to me here. It's just not very savvy with with all the media, social media.
Why? Because you're so
starting to get it together.
You're so consistent. You're like, you show up constantly. And that's one of the best ways to get a following, I think, is when you're being very consistent. And so, yeah, don't be shy. Get yourself out there because like people need this. People need to see this, and people need to know that there's somebody in Canada that's doing this that can help support them if they want to work with you. Yeah,
absolutely. And look, I reach out to people personally every day. People reach out to me personally, maybe not every day, but every once in a while. Yeah. So if somebody has a simple question or whatever, just reach out, right? I might not answer you like on the spot, but as soon as I have a minute, I'll gladly answer and help, right? That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to help people, right? That. I'm here to help. I'm here to heal, right? And through Wim Hof Method, you can do both. Right? You just got to choose to get on board with it. Right? Yeah. It's as simple as that. But again, you have to choose.
You have to choose. Yeah.
You have to choose. Right? There's no pressure here. Right? Totally. You have to choose to do the breath work. You have to choose, especially choose to get into the cold. But if you do, you're going to be so rewarded, guaranteed, or money back.
I love that. One thing that I do want to research a little bit more that I'm not sure about, and I'm not sure if you know this, but for women, especially in their postpartum time that are going through like this healing and in the childbearing years, I'm not sure about the safety of cold plunging at that point, or especially like when you're breastfeeding, or maybe even after you're done breastfeeding, but maybe your body's not healed yet from having kids. That's the part that I'm a bit like, I need to know more information on that. And I'm wondering if you know where I could find that information.
There's nothing technical out there in the studies yet, other than what our instructors kind of talk about amongst ourselves, but through our participants, right? The breath work while pregnant, definitely a great thing.
Yeah.
The cold water,
Yeah, probably not well.
the science isn't really there.
Yeah.
It's not recommended, and we don't recommend it. Is
Mm-hmm.
kind of the bottom line to it, right? Now, postpartum, both absolutely fabulous for you,
Okay.
right? And I'm just trying to think of through the range of conversations that we've had about the
Hmm.
breastfeeding. There hasn't been any real negatives per se.
Okay.
Like this has occurred or that's occurred.
Okay.
I mean, it's going to be different for everybody,
Yeah.
right? So what I would say about it is to try it. Don't
Mhm.
force, right? And see if it helps you, right? Be aware of what it does for you, right?
Right.
Judge one day from the next day, right? So today I didn't do breathing. Today I did do breathing. How I felt,
Yes.
right? One versus the other. But on the postpartum, just dealing with the anxiety and
Yes.
everything that you guys. I have 5 kids, right? So,
Yeah.
look, I'm not. I didn't bear any of them, but you go through a lot, right?
Yes.
So any kind of tool that can help you,
100%. Yeah.
grab onto it, take hold of it,
Yeah. And
right?
that's why I
I mean,
started this channel. It's all about like postpartum sanity, like how, and like mom sanity, like how do we use all the tools that we can find in order to help align ourselves and be sane for as many hours of the day as humanly possible, considering everything going on, right?
right. And bottom line to this here is if it helps reduce your anxiety,
Mhm.
right? It alkalizes you, right? And it brings you to a better place and a better mental state. It's going to bring your child there too,
Yes,
right? Your
exactly.
child's only going to
Love
feed
that.
off of your state, right?
Yes.
So if you're in a better brain state, you're in a better body state, a better state of consciousness, your child's going to carry all that with you as well.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely something I'm going to have to research more, because a lot of cultures have a thing about staying warm when you're healing. So I'm
Hmm.
going to have to really dive in there. But yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. And I love the conversation. And yeah, I feel like, especially when you're done breastfeeding and you're still experiencing some anxiety symptoms, and you could definitely benefit from trying it. Exactly. And like use yourself as a guinea pig and see what happens.
Yeah. And look, if any official science comes out, I mean, it's
Exactly. Then
the
we'll see.
problem. The problem is testing on the human bodies, right?
Yeah.
And testing on somebody who's pregnant. Um, it gets into
Pregnancy,
some
I think we
gray
can rule
areas,
out.
right?
We
Yeah.
can safely rule out doing it in pregnancy, but like you said,
Yep.
I think breath work is always advantageous.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that gets
Love
your
that.
mind into a better place. And look, this breathing, I do it daily, right? And it always gets me to a better place after breath work than before I stop. It's the best, one of the best 20-minute investments I have every day.
That's so
Right? The ice bath,
powerful.
my ice bath is only 5 minutes, so it's
Yes.
even quicker, right? But a
Yes.
little bit more to it. Again, the breath is easy. We all breathe. So
We
breathe.
all breathe. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to keep following your journey, and I cannot wait to see you soar and help as many people as possible.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity and the wonderful interview here today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Have a beautiful day. Mwah.
Take care.
Bye.